Could I now call on Dr. Mohsen Pakparvar, who is an economist and director of Central Asia and Caucasus Study Group of the Institute for Political and International Studies in Tehran, to take the floor.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much for this opportunity that I have been given. As an IPIS member, and as you know, the IPIS is the research center that belongs to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and looking for the several studies project with the Foreign Think Tank Institute that the last year we have a MOU with DOC, and we are so appreciate for arranging the several meetings between two sides, and this is the first one in economic side that they requesting us, and I think after almost 6 months we have done it, and this is the time that I'm appreciating DOC member, especially Dr. Yakunin and all the DOC member that we are in touch. So the things that I'm going to tell you about the Iran auto industry. Last year I have one presentation in Brussels about this matter that I updated, and just I'm going to tell you how big this in this industry that we have it in Iran, and how is its share, and the opportunities that available for foreigners to participate in this big industry that I think is the unique in Iran. Although we are the energy side country, and the share of the energy industry is more higher than, for example, industry, but due to the direct and indirect employment and the benefit to the even government and the ordinary people, it's much more better for us to more expand this activity. These are some figure about the Iran that I'm not to take your time about this matter, just I'm passing. That just I want to tell you how diversified Iran and how accessible and how the nature and every advantage that we have in Iran. If we want to have some, indicate that showing the Iran's factual situation and also the ability and the capacity of Iran, I can mention, for example, the bordering country that we have it around 16 neighboring countries that I think after Russia, we are second in the world with the high potential of the interaction between the neighboring country, and the climate in Iran, it's very diversified. Every time we can find forces in Iran, and very good opportunity for the, every activity, industrial activity or economic activities in Iran. I'm not going to, tell you something about the Iran, how diversified its land, forest, and so on, and the population that already you have seen the figure that our colleague before that mentioned to you. And just I want to mention about the import and export that Mr. Tahir is going to tell us more about the matter. But last figure that we have it 44 billion instead of our friend in the morning mentioned 23. Now it's 44 vs 45 billion export that we have done it last year. As a part of the industrial activity, the road is very important, and Iran with the 1.6 square kilometer area, and the huge road network around the 230,000 kilometers that we have it means that Iran needs huge capacity of the transit and connection between their cities, villages, and so on. And the role and the share of the auto industry is very important in this case. These are some figures that I'm not taking your time, that our friend and colleague will tell you more about this matter in their presentation. And just I'm passing this, the energy that already Dr. Malik mentioned about it. And education system that is also, about one part of the industry that's needed for every industry, the vocational training that we have it. You know that Iran is in the second in the world with the 300,000 engineer educated every year. That huge capacity for the every industry that they want to do any activity. And nowadays, so the potential of market, unfortunately, is not sufficient. So it means some of them are unemployed and need more activity. And we hope by the sharing the some foreign company and foreign investment, by this advantage, they can be benefited. About the auto industry, that this part I'm telling you, the more than 38 countries, active, they are more active. It means, although some other countries have a small share, but the 38 countries directly have a share in the world production. 90% of auto production belong to the 22 countries, that Iran, of course, is one of them. World auto industry's turnover around the $3 trillion a year, and auto industry share in Iran around 3.35% of the GDP. But in the total industry, it's around the 20% of the Iranian industry. And the 12% of the total employee belong to this industry. And about the production, the several kind of the auto have manufactured in Iran, and you can see the share of the each one in 2014 and 2015. That, but this year, it means 2070, it's I think going to be 1.5 million car total. It means around 50% bigger than 2015 that we had it. And the figure, decrease of the figure, that it is regarding the sanction that we had faced 2 years back. The share of the major car producer in Iran, the Saipa and Iran Khodro is the major producer, and both company together around 65% of the whole production. Although the Saipa diesel and the Iran Khodro diesel also belong to this, two big companies, but it's separated, that you should know they divide the passengers car with the commercial car. And about the export, that you can see the share of the Iranian export is not much due to the sanction, due to some financial problem, due to some, technical problem, technology, and so on. Unfortunately, they were not so successful, but they are planning to do it very soon. It means within 5 years, Iran, due to its perspective to 2025, they have to reach in high level of the export to the even neighboring country or some other country that we already, invest, such as, Egypt, such as Senegal and Venezuela and so on. There's some goals that I bring it here regarding to the industry of Iran in 2025, that the total annual production could be 3 million vehicles. It means Iran, if can reach to this volume of the production, become one of the 10th major production of the car in the world. Maximum of the 50% of production should be under the domestic brand. It means not could be imported or not directly shared under any foreign name, foreign brands. And $25 billion revenue of the spare part should be come from the local market, 6 billion export of the spare part, and the production of the 120,000 heavy vehicle. It means 75% of become to domestic consumption and 25 for the export. And increasing of the auto industry's share to GDP to 4%. If you remember, nowadays it's around 3.5. And reaching of the 20% share of the industry sector of economy. And these are the figures that divided by year how we can go ahead in production separated from the car export and the heavy vehicles and their share in the export. That if you look at this, the huge capacity that available in Iranian production and needs to be implemented soon. Quantitative goal of the 2025, again, we have obligated to improve and enhance of the quality and after-sales service, reduction of the pollution. It's one of the major problems, especially during the winter in some big city and mega city of Iran like Tehran, the pollution, and all the producer committed to reduce all the, all kind of the pollution regarding this matter. About the auto industry's position, just I think 2 presentations before you have seen this, that nowadays our rank is 18, and as I told you, if we are going to reach to the 3 million production within 10 years or maybe 15 years, we have to reach to the 9th or 10th position in the world. And what about the auto industry's capacity at the moment? I mentioned that annually the car is this is in the 1,000 that the production available. Although the capacity of the all the factories not fulfilled, some of them maybe have less than 50% are active, but this is available. And these are the major Iranian car manufacturer. That 48, although it's going to increase. But the major one, as I told you, the Saipa and the Iran Khodro. In this part, I gave some figure and some statistics regarding the both big company. It means Iran Khodro and the Saipa group. This is about the Saipa, for example, share at the moment, in the market, 43 this side, and the Iran Khodro is 44. It means only 1%. This figure almost 1.5 years back that I have took it from directly. That companies. And the Iran sales volume, you can see 1.1 in 2014. And as I told you, they expect this year to reach 1.5 million car production. And again, this is another figure that's showing the Saipa Group's market share regarding the, passenger's car. It means the heavy car, the ordinary car that they are manufacturing. Iran Khodro, is the one, we can say, mega company that affiliated several companies with this big and huge company, more than 25, company under the supervision and subsidiaries of this Iran Khodro company that I listed here. And this is about the Saipa, that Saipa also have some affiliated company as well. These are some, new contract that under the, these 2 big company have signed, and they are going, or they already started production, or they are going to start their production or collaboration in a spare part of with Iranian partners. And this is some figure about the Saipa that I told you. The latest development, that several, EU companies signed contract agreement and MOU with Iranian production line that should be several $1 billion. All the contract together, maybe more than $15 billion we expected. But if it's completed and be implemented, maybe take some years to fulfill all the commitment. Renault, for example, with the Iran Khodro, Citroën with Saipa, Renault with Hydro, and Volkswagen already have negotiated but not finalized the, signing the agreement. Peugeot that have, signed the new companies with Iran Khodro for the new production. Share of the imported car, in Iran, less than 10%. It means most of the people are still using Iranian car, and still they prefer Iranian car. And if the quality of the car increase, of course, this share should decrease. It means imported car. But Chinese nowadays is more active in Iranian car manufacture. And I think in the region, we are the first that we are producing several brand of the Chinese car, and their target is to reach to 10% of Iranian market. It means the huge amount, 150,000 car annually, that it's one big share for Chinese company. And the opportunities that we have it, and this is in general that our friend and colleague is going to tell you some more. I'm not taking you, but yes, I'm going. About the spare part, I also going to tell you that spare part, the major supporter companies for all Iranian car manufacturers, that they divided in 4 clusters inside the country. And it's up to their advantage. For example, in the southern part, due to the accessing better to the energy, the major spare part that need more energy, or those they need, for example, more water, they be in the cluster 6 and so on. Some statistic in this case I also provided, that 200 units spare part manufacturer, that we have a direct employee around 500,000 person, indirect employee 600,000, that it means more than 1 million employee just in spare part. We have it an investment $3 billion that going to be increased, and the amount working capacity is $4.5 billion. A spare part share of the total industry is 9%, and the salaries paid $1.5 billion. Industries interest paid, it means all the companies, due to some, financial problem, they have some obligation, some commitment to the financial system, and this huge amount that they have to pay on their loan and so on. These are the share, of course, about the license, joint venture, technical assistance, technology transfer, and exclusively agency that Iranian spare part, have done it during this for category 2005, 2009, 13, and 15. And the production of the vehicle and spare part you can compare in this figure. And these are the trend major spare part supplier sales till 2 years back. And this is the market of the spare part, international market, and also Iranian share as well. The agreement that we have done in a spare part with several, foreign company, the Indian are more active in this case. It means they have a good share, and then after them is the French companies, Australian also, and Turkish as well. They have a good share. These are also the export part, share in the export to the other country. And finally, I have some suggestion regarding to collaboration with the foreign companies, especially even in Europe, in Russia, and India, that we suggest them that the exchanging of the information via the government side and the private sector Iranian companies vs European companies, giving the suggestion to the promote bilateral relation, sending EU companies delegation to provide feasible studies report. It means in micro level, B2B meeting auto industrial companies vs Iranian car and spare part market, joint research and regional marketing utilizing of Iran spare part capacity. And finally, as I told and I appreciate DOC regarding the all facility that they provide for Iranian delegation, Mr. Yakunin, Mr. Filipov, and Skolkov, and all the friends that gather here, and by patient just hearing my presentation and looking at that. Thank you very much.